founding member of one of the biggest rock bands in history, was found dead in his pool. One man claims to know exactly what really happened that night, but he only told one person, and he took the full truth to his grave. Did someone get away with it? Watch till the end to find out. 1. The Princes in the Tower. It is 1483. Two young boys, princes of England, walk into the Tower of London. They are never seen again. Edward V was just 12 years old. His brother Richard was only 9. Their uncle, Richard III, put them there for their safety. Sure, no one ever confirmed their deaths. No bodies were found for nearly 200 years. In 1674, workers found small bones under a staircase inside the tower. Scientists think they could be the boys, but no one knows for certain. Was it Richard III? A rival lord? Someone else entirely? After more than 500 years, this is still one of history's greatest unsolved mysteries. 2. King William II, William Rufus. Now let us talk about a king who was killed by an arrow, in a hunting trip, by accident, maybe. It is August 2nd, 1100. King William II, also called William Rufus because of his red face, rides into the New Forest with a group of noblemen. By the end of the day, he is dead. An arrow through the chest. The official story? A hunting accident. A stray arrow from a knight named Walter Tyrrell. But here is the strange part. Walter Tyrrell fled England immediately. He never stood trial. And William's younger brother Henry, who was on that very same hunting trip, became king the very next day. Convenient? Very. If this is already blowing your mind, smash that like button right now and subscribe, because we are just getting started. The stories get much darker from here. 3. Amy Robsart. Here is a story about love, power, and a very suspicious staircase. Amy Robsart was the wife of Robert Dudley, one of Queen Elizabeth I's closest and most trusted favorites. Some people even believed the Queen was in love with Dudley herself. In September 1560, Amy was found dead at the bottom of a staircase at her home. Her neck was broken. The inquest called it an accident, but almost nobody believed that. If Amy was gone, Dudley could be free to marry the Queen. That gave him a very strong reason to want her dead. Some whispered it was murder. Others suggested she may have ended her own life due to illness. The truth? Hidden, buried, lost to time, just like Amy herself. 4. King Edward II. Imagine being a king and then losing everything. Edward II was forced off the throne in 1327 by his own wife, Queen Isabella, and her boyfriend, Roger Mortimer. He was locked away in Berkeley Castle in Gloucestershire. A few months later, he was declared dead. The official cause? Natural causes. But people were not buying it. Rumors spread fast. The most shocking story claimed he was killed in a deeply painful and horrible way. A method chosen specifically so it would leave no visible marks on his body. A letter from a jailer, written years later, suggested Edward may have actually escaped and lived as a wandering monk in Europe for years afterward. Dead? Escaped? Hidden away? Nobody agrees. The records are full of gaps, and those gaps are very suspicious indeed. 5. Henry VI. Henry VI was a gentle king in a very violent time. He ruled England twice and lost the throne twice. After the Battle of Tewkesbury in 1471, his side was defeated. His son was killed in battle. Henry was already locked up in the Tower of London. Then, just days after the battle, he was found dead in his cell. The official cause of death was listed as melancholy, which basically means sadness. Even for the 1400s, that is not a real cause of death. The real story, believed by most historians today, is that Henry was quietly murdered, almost certainly on the orders of the new king, Edward IV. Henry was a threat, a living, breathing reason for rebellion. Dead kings cause fewer problems, and Edward IV knew exactly how to solve his problems. 6. Sir Edmund Barry Godfrey. This one has everything. A murder, a political scandal, and a name so strange you will remember it forever. Sir Edmund Barry Godfrey was a well-known and respected magistrate in London. In October 1678, he took a statement from a man named Titus Oates, someone who claimed there was a massive Catholic plot to murder King Charles II. 15 days later, Godfrey was found dead in a ditch near Primrose Hill. He had been strangled. His own sword had been pushed through his body after death. 3 Catholic men were arrested, tried, and executed for the murder. Historians today believe they were almost certainly innocent, used as scapegoats during a time of huge anti-Catholic panic in England. Who actually killed Godfrey? A government insider trying to silence him? Someone who feared what he knew? Nearly 350 years later, no one has a solid answer. We are halfway through, and things are about to get even more mysterious. Hit that subscribe button so you never miss a story like this. Now, let us keep going. 7. Christopher Marlowe. Christopher Marlowe was one of the greatest writers of the 1500s. Some historians even believe he secretly wrote plays that were later credited to William Shakespeare. Bold claim? Absolutely. Impossible? Maybe not. But here is what we know for certain. On May 30th, 1593, Marlowe went to a house in Deptford for a meal and a meeting. By the end of the night, he was dead, stabbed above the eye in what was described as an argument over the bill. Here is what makes this suspicious. Marlowe was known to work as a spy for the English government. He had been arrested just days before his death on serious charges that could have led to execution. Some researchers believe his death was actually a staged escape, that he faked his own passing to avoid trial and quietly lived on elsewhere. Real murder? Government hit? Brilliant disappearing act? Marlowe kept his secrets well. 8. Amy Johnson. Amy Johnson was a hero. In 1930, she became the first woman to fly solo from England all the way to Australia, a journey of over 11,000 miles. Britain absolutely loved her. But in January 1941, during World War II, her plane went down over the Thames estuary. She parachuted out of the aircraft. She was spotted in the freezing water by HMS Haslemere. And then she was gone. Her body was never recovered. The official story is that she ran out of fuel and crashed. But questions keep coming up. Why was she flying so far off her approved route? Why were there 2 separate sightings of parachutes, not one? Some witnesses claimed they heard her calling out that she had a passenger with her. Most chilling of all, some researchers believe she may have been accidentally shot down by British forces who mistook her plane for an enemy aircraft. A national hero, possibly killed by her own side. The thought is haunting. 9. Lord Kitchener. Lord Kitchener was one of the most famous faces in British history. His pointing finger on the famous "Your Country Needs You" poster is still recognized around the world today. In June 1916, Kitchener boarded a warship called HMS Hampshire. He was heading on a secret diplomatic mission to Russia. Just 2 hours after leaving port, the ship struck a mine and sank off the coast of Scotland. Of the 655 men on board, only 12 survived. Kitchener was not one of them. His body was never found. Now, the conspiracy theories began almost immediately. Was the mine planted deliberately? Was Kitchener betrayed? Some claimed German spies had learned about his route. Others believed political enemies in Britain wanted him gone. He had powerful opponents in the government. The mission was so secretive that details were not fully released for decades. No body, a secret mission. A war at its most desperate hour. Mystery guaranteed. 10. Brian Jones. We end our journey in 1969, not in a castle or a battlefield, but beside a swimming pool in Sussex. Brian Jones was one of the founding members of the Rolling Stones. He was electric on stage, a gifted musician who played over a dozen instruments. But by 1969, things had fallen apart. His bandmates had pushed him out of the group he helped create. He was struggling with personal difficulties. On the night of July 2nd, 1969, Brian was found at the bottom of his swimming pool. He was 27 years old. The coroner recorded a verdict of death by misadventure, basically an accident. But not everyone agreed. A builder named Frank Thorogood, who worked at Brian's home, reportedly confessed to a close friend on his deathbed that he had held Brian underwater that night. Thorogood denied it when he was alive. The police never reopened the case with enough force to find answers. Brian Jones joins a tragic club, the famous 27 Club Dow of rock stars who died at exactly that age. Was it an accident? Was it something darker? The pool holds its silence. 10 lives, 10 mysteries, and after all these years, not one clean answer. History loves to keep its secrets, but we will keep asking the questions. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe for more stories that history tried to hide. See you in the next one.